Well, hey, y'all, and welcome to the Everyday Truths podcast, where we make faith real and relevant so we can live it out in our everyday lives. My name is Sherry. I'm the creator of Everyday Truths, and today I am joined by my husband, Wesley, and we are going to be talking about decision making, how different personalities play into decision making, and how we can honor God even in our daily small decisions. And so it's a great conversation. Now, if you are somebody who normally listens or watches the podcast on video, this week is an audio only recording. And so I guess use your imaginations and just imagine what we look like talking today. And so let's get into it. Welcome to the Everyday Truths podcast, brought to you by our giant dog Moses, who is trying to get up on the couch where there is no space for him.
A big brown good friend.
Good friend, but there's no space for you, Bubba. There's not space. I don't think this is going to go well, but this is what the people listen for, right?
This is what the people want.
This is what the people want. Come on, Mo. Hold on.
All right,
on.
now lay down.
Lay down. Ooh.
Oh, look at you.
Welcome to our home. We're recording at our house again today. We have a topic, a question that someone sent in that we're going to talk about. This is my husband, Wesley. I don't think I said that. Let me tell you the question. It was basically, they asked if we would talk about major life decisions. And I don't even think it's just like decision making. Like how do you make
generally decision making?
Let's bring it down. So if you want to know about big life decisions, Wes and I did an episode in season 1 about steps of faith that really gets into that. Today, I want to talk about decision making, but I want us to talk about it specifically for us as individuals. It's not necessarily in a marriage context, not necessarily like, because obviously we know each other and we understand our decision-making processes, but let's talk about it as if, not like we didn't know each other, but let's talk about it as if you were being asked independently. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because we are very different. I think we're going to bring very different perspectives in this arena. Mm-hmm. And so, but right now, before we get started, I wish I had paper. Do you have your phone right here?
I do.
Okay, so this is what we're going to play. We're going to play like reverse desert island. So the game Desert Island is where you pick, like you pretend like you're going to be stuck on a desert island for the rest of your life.
Copy.
And you have to pick 5 things that you would bring. So the way we're going to do it is that we are packing each other's bags. Okay? And we each have to pick 5 movies for the other person. 5 movies for the other person. These are the only movies you can ever watch ever again in your life. And so we're going to see what we would have packed for each other and see how we feel about.
So I'm typing your movies.
Yes.
I'm ready. Can I describe it?
Sure.
And then even if I don't get the title?
Sure. It's more like things you can watch. Jeopardy.
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh shoot, I need a 5th one. Okay.
Your favorite movie of all time, and then I remember.
I have a good one that I don't think you would pick for yourself, but you will be like, yes, I could definitely watch this over and over again. One of them I'm just not sure about, but I feel good about the other ones.
Copy.
Okay, are you ready? You go first.
Me?
Yes.
What if we trade off?
Yeah.
In no particular order.
Sure.
Ghost in the Darkness.
Oh, that's a good one. Except I feel like you're cheating a little bit because that's one we both really like.
Duh.
And so that's why. Okay. Well, all right. Well, I will accept it. I will accept it. It goes in my bag.
Okay.
That's right. We're packing the bag for each other.
See, I wanted to make sure you got
What if we're on different desert islands? You're assuming that we're together. So you just.
I would swim to you.
Yes, you are. You're the sweetest. Bonus points for you. Okay. Ready? This is kind of a wild card. The Martian. It is one that it is a repeat watcher.
Yeah. I like The Martian.
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about being isolated in the middle of nowhere. So I feel like you
He's an engineer who figures things out.
We should have both put Castaway. Would have been so perfect for a desert island. Yeah. Okay, your turn.
Pride and Prejudice.
Yes. 1,000,000%. Okay. The Abyss.
Ooh, I like The Abyss.
Yes. Okay.
One of my favorite sci-fi movies.
Yeah. Okay.
U-571.
You know what? That's a good one. I almost put a submarine movie or some kind of war movie like that. I do like U-571. That and like The Patriot, if they're on, I could always watch them. Yeah. Apparently I like gore. Okay. Maverick.
Yes.
Yep.
Excellent one.
Yes.
It's a good
I knew
one.
it. Okay.
Black Widow.
Oh, Oh man, I do like Black Widow.
You watch that by yourself.
Oh, I do.
Times. You've seen that movie more times than I have.
Yeah. Like, do you like my vest? No, I
knew
knew
you
you thought it was cool. Yeah, it's so good. Okay. So my next one, Tombstone.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good Western.
All right, you go.
Sliding Doors.
Oh man, that's a deep cut. I do love that. I do love that.
Isn't that your favorite movie of all time?
It's pretty close. I think so. I do love that one for sure.
Well, that's all of mine. That's the one I was like, I better include her favorite movie of all time.
Well, wait, you went first, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay, then my last pick was Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Okay.
How was that your last pick?
Well,
that
it's
was
not my last
5?
pick. No. I went in no specific order. It was number 1. I'm surprised you didn't choose The Mummy for me. Or like Nacho Libre or like...
Yeah, one of the funny ones. Yeah.
One of the funny ones.
I just thinking of...
I
just didn't think about them.
You just wanted me to be really sad and watch people die.
Yeah. It was more like, I treated it more like the marriage game. Like, I better get these right. So I just tried to read your mind.
Oh, okay. There you go. Well, we packed each other's bag. We did pretty good. None of those I was like, ugh. Like, did I do good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do we have 10 movies or 5 movies?
So technically we have 10, I guess, on this desert island that we've packed for each other. Yeah. I'm surprised Moses has stayed up here this long. Good boy.
He's a good friend. All
right. So today's topic, you woke him up. Today's topic is making decisions. And so I thought this was a great topic for you and I to talk. This isn't a topic that specifically came in for like you and I. Right. This was a topic that just came in, and I thought that you were a perfect person to speak to this just because we make decisions just drastically different. And so there is the practical personality side. There's the faith side that is going to be like overarching. Mm-hmm. But I do think we can speak to how God speaks to us differently. Let's see where it goes. I'm going to let you take the lead. I'm really curious how you want to go through this. I want you to make the decision.
Sure.
About how to make decisions. And so I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes and we're going to go for it. Ready, set, go.
Decisions.
So
generally I'm a very introspective person. I think a lot about my own thought processes and strengths and weaknesses and all those things. Spend a lot of time thinking.
Yeah.
As one does.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very familiar with my decision-making process and how it works well for me sometimes and doesn't work well for me in others. I'm a very logical person, very mind-first person. My of all the people in my life, the person that would shake their head and be like, no, because I know you, is my mom. My mom's like, no, because you have so much more heart and feeling than you realize or you let yourself do. It's just, but somewhere along the line, I let my head override a lot of my emotion and heart and gut. People decide from their head, people decide from their gut. Generally 2 categories. I'm way more of a head person. Have a lot of hard time trusting my gut on decisions. Any decision. Yeah. Doesn't matter how big or small it is.
I can only think of one big gut decision that you've ever made.
Yeah, I could probably, if I said...
I can name 5.
That escalated quickly.
I can name 5.
Are we playing Desert Island again?
Yes. But I know the big one that affects me the most. But yes, anyway.
It does affect you the most.
It was deciding to marry me.
It was.
It was like gut. It was a gut like...
I just knew. I was like, I'm going to marry that girl.
I know. You just said it. Like, not to me, fortunately, because I would have run so fast that early, but it doesn't matter. Sorry, I hijacked your
button.
Thing. I know. I was a panicker for sure. But sorry. So decisions, you know yourself.
Yeah.
Gut and decisions.
So have a hard time with that. Have learned, still struggle. Have to be very intentional. Need to learn to trust my gut a little bit more, especially when it's strong. I question my own intentions and I question everything. And that comes out in my decision-making process because sometimes it takes me a really long time to act on a decision. I've been thinking about something, whether it's right, whether it's wrong, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's, the timing is right and all the things, like you mentioned, we talked about big faith decisions, big steps, steps of faith. In that, I was kind of detailing, I'm very much a build the bridge first and then go across it. Now, all decisions are that big of a deal. What you're gonna eat for breakfast, not make or break. But I can get hung up on this loop of whether a decision's right, or not, even if it's a small one. How to do something work related, how to steward this habitat and wild, how to do that.
Which is your job.
Yeah, which is my job. Yeah. I work at a ranch and manage the habitat and wildlife and, try to cobble enough things together to an attempt to break even. And sometimes with a completely blank slate, those kind of decisions are difficult for me. Mm-hmm. I need a little bit more structure sometimes. I don't really know where I was going with that. It was more just kind of detailing how I make decisions. Often have been described, like people have told me, you're so chill and calm and steady and even. I'm like, if only you could see inside my head
Yeah.
the things that are going on. I don't really know where I'm going with that.
No, you're fine, because I think people are going to relate, because there are folks very much like you who go, man, I want the details. I want to build the bridge before I go across it and things like that.
And I'm very logical. It's like, here are the steps. Here's the thing that makes sense. This decision makes sense. I've thought through it. Here are the repercussions. Here are the options.
Yes.
All of that. Sometimes you don't have all of that. And I have a really difficult time with decisions that don't make sense. Dealing with other people's decisions that don't make sense logically to me, or my own that are emotional based. It's like there's emotion in a lot of decisions. Once the needle tips past like 60-40,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I'm acting, I'm drawn to be making a more of a gut and emotional decision, is when I start to really struggle with actually following through with something outside of my head.
It's when it gets blended.
Yeah.
Because your decision side, you've so related it with the logic, and it is not emotionless, but it's like weird thing. We were talking about investments the other day, and you're like, there is no space for gut in investments.
Emotion.
Emotion, better.
Yeah. Investment stuff cannot be an emotional.
Well, because when you're a logic-based person, your gut is going to is going to be connected to logic, because it's connected to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah. And
I shouldn't equate gut and emotion necessarily, because
I think so then go and redefine, because you were like, my mom would say the opposite, because she knows me really well. You were saying there's two different kinds of people. There's gut people and there's logic people. Do you mean there's like heart people and there's like head people?
Yes. The problem is that I don't think that division.
No.
Oh, well, hi, sir.
Are you going to move?
What you doing?
Big guy. Oh, no, you can't go that way, buddy. You're going to fall.
All right, I just gotta lay on my other side. Find the cool side of the pillow.
The camera's getting your good side, Bubba. Check out my assets. All right, so all right, so sorry. So redraw with a new definition, like help us understand the dichotomy that you were trying to state. That's too strong of a statement, but yes.
That's why I started with, I'm very introspective. So it's personality things and how I process the world and how I respond, all of those things. I think about a lot of those things all the time, how I can be better at that, how I can change it or tweak it, or what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. And so when you research or read about or take personality to do all of those kinds of things, the categories kind of start to flush out. It's like thinkers and feelers and, people that respond with their gut and people that respond with their, mind, with their head. I am a high feeler in some ways, but I don't make decisions out of my gut all the time.
Yeah.
That's just not how I work.
Yeah.
Does this make sense? What are the repercussions? I'm a thinker. I'm a think through it kind of person.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can draw out a decision unnecessarily long.
Yeah.
It makes the process just very slow and agonizing for somebody maybe like you or somebody like my dad, somebody like, that just is a much more act, and I can step backwards. I don't like going backwards. I can't stand it.
Yeah. So you're right. So I do fall very much on an opposite. But what's interesting is you are a feeler who is very logic based. I am a very logic based person. Not that you're not logic based. I don't know how to say this. I'm not a feeler, but I make a lot of gut decisions. Mm-hmm. And so it's really interesting.
That's why I didn't want to equate those two necessarily.
Yeah. And so now I'll say this. I make different decisions depending on like how healthy I am emotionally in the moment. And so actually healthier, I am much more of a gut decision person. When I'm in a more difficult spot, I will sit there and overanalyze just to the extreme. And what I've learned in this season, especially as I've just overanalyzed and overanalyzed and overanalyzed, it's like this image of two ladders that are trying to get over like an obstacle. One of them is ugly, but it's gotten the person over the obstacle. And one of them is like perfect, but it's only halfway up. And sometimes it's like you have to do something. It might be ugly and it may not look pretty and all of those things.
We call that ranch style.
Ranch style. But sometimes it's like you'll hear really like methodical people look at non-methodical people, and it's like they're like ready, fire, aim instead of ready, aim, fire.
Right.
That's the issue. Is I know how much I gridlock, and I'm not trying to make a case. I'm saying it is unhealthy for me to get caught in all of those details, because what it means is stagnancy for me. And so I'm much more likely to go, a decision needs to be made. So I am going to make a decision, or maybe a better way to say this, especially as we bring faith into it, is something needs to move. That means that I need to move where it's God's showing me. And the thing is, like, there have been lots of times where God's given me like a direction, and then I've done it the wrong way. Like, I mean, it's just like, not like ethically the wrong way. And then it's like God's corrected me within that. And that's okay. 'Cause I'm like, you can't steer a parked car. You have to do something. You have to move. That originated bigger. You have to move, you have to go, you have to do something.
Right.
And in this season, honestly, and a lot of unknowns, I really have struggled with that. But that's typically, I'm going to err towards movement over being still and getting lost in analysis paralysis. But that has to do with, I actually don't make good decisions out of over-analysis. I don't. And you kind of fall in the opposite, where you're like, I don't feel like I make good decisions, or rather, I don't like to live in analysis paralysis. You like to live in analysis, not analysis paralysis makes it seem like a bad thing. So I am all gas pedal.
Right. And I'm the pump the brakes in general. My thinking is my strength. It's also can be my biggest weakness, is getting just caught in this loop of, hey man, sometimes you gotta be gas pedal.
Sometimes you have to go. You just have to do something. And then it's also like, sometimes you have to stop moving and you have to assess. That's, I won't get into it. I feel like I talk about it all the time, but that's one of what my favorite verse in scripture has to do. It's like, God rejoices when he sees a plumb line in the hand of Zerubbabel. There is something to the intentional slowdown of measurement. And what's interesting is, I know there are folks that are listening that are very like you, and they're like, this is absolutely the right way to do that.
Right.
Don't be impulsive. And then there are folks like me that are listening that are like, no, but you have to go and you have to do something. I think why we balance each other well, or why I wanted to specifically talk to you about this topic, was because I think that we can bring a balance, because we've seen the strength in one another to go, one of them's not right and one of them's not wrong, but you do have to.
They're situational.
I would say they're not even good and bad. I think if you're in a healthy place, you can understand the benefit of both.
Right.
And you can slow down, but neither one of them is wrong, because if you had folks that only analyze, they would never take a step forward, because there are very few objective decisions in life. That most of them are very subjective. It's, wait, should I do this? Should I take the job? Should I do this? Should we move? Should we, and so there's so many subjective things that it's like a person, if your personality went more extreme, you would be gridlocked. And if mine did, we would just be in constant flight. And so it's not that either one are right or wrong. And so let's just go to the foundation that we all make decisions very differently from one another, whether you relate with one of us or the other. You feel like you're a blend. You feel like you I think there is something worth asking the question, like, what's driving my decisions? Like, I know I can be a very fear-based person. And so, like, what's driving my decisions? Analyze all of those. But let's talk now as we're wrapping up and we're talking about how we make decisions, because we've talked about how we as individuals make decisions. How do we bring God into those decisions?
Right.
Whether you are somebody who, wherever you fall in the spectrum of personality, if none of them are right, wrong, or other, how do we bring God into those decisions?
Yeah.
So how do you...
I pray about it. I mean, that's like, it seems kind of duh, but, on long commutes and silent drives, I'll spend an hour wrestling with a decision and talking. And more importantly than that, it's like, God knows the things of my heart. I don't have to say this to God, because he already knows it. There's something about, like, I'm struggling with,
Yeah.
I do, but my point is, I don't spend a lot of time just chatting about it on my end. I spend a lot of time listening.
Yeah.
And letting my mind just kind of freely float in and how I feel God uniquely speaks to me in that way of asking for wisdom and guidance. And sometimes it's a confirmation of like, I'll feel like I just don't have the whole picture, and that makes me nervous. I don't like not knowing the outcomes and being able to pick the possibilities and have contingency plans. And sometimes God's like, yep, on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So your move, bro. And then I at least know. Sometimes that's almost encouraging because it's like, okay. I'm not just like, eventually I'm like, okay, God's got it. And I'll just step forward. And we've experienced that in life. Sometimes I'm just like, I've wrestled with this, I don't know, but I know that I got to go through the door. God's just waiting for me to go through the door before I can see any more of this, whatever this looks like.
Yeah.
That could be something small. It could be something big. But for me, bringing God into it in any decision I'm actually wrestling with that's significant in some way is praying and listening.
Yeah. I have two questions, but I have a question, but I want to make a statement first. I think it's interesting the way that you're talking about it. It's when we pray, and especially when we listen, it's like we're inviting God into the problem, the scenario, the whatever it is. And so when we invite him in it, we then don't feel alone in it.
Right.
Because we're not. And it's not that God isn't there, but we do. I saw this thing recently and it was like, God, I'm done. Like, there's not anything else I can do. Like, I'm exhausted. And it was like the response was, good. Now I can help. Mm-hmm. Now you're going to rely on me. Like, good. But I love what you're saying. It's like you're inviting him into it by sitting, by listening, by praying. And I think that that's awesome. And so my question.
I have something to add for this.
Okay, go ahead.
To the season. But it might derail your process. Remind me.
Well, my question then was going to be, have you ever noticed that you've avoided praying for something because you don't want to wrestle with it?
Yep. More because I know what the right answer probably is. And I know that if I get confirmation about what that right thing is from God, then I have to do it. But if it's just me, I could pass it off as human fallacy and be like, But once God tells me to do it, I mean, then there's no excuse or escape or anything. It's like, nope, this might as well be like, I got my chisel out and now it's in stone.
Yeah.
This will happen one way, painfully or not painfully.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's like when one of the kids comes home and they got in trouble, but they just like don't say anything. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, they don't know. So it's almost like if I don't say it, if I don't ask about it, if I don't whatever, then maybe I don't have to face the consequence of it. And it's not that we're talking about God like bringing about consequences in this, but it's just like there's like guilt by omission. I definitely have done that. Mm-hmm. I've just avoided seeking God in something because I didn't want to know. And it's so relatable. But okay, so you talked about prayer. So of course, praying, and I love that you talked about listening because it's so vital, but I will say that scripture is the biggest way that I feel like I really get help when it comes to decisions. I'm very much a story person and a narrative person, and what I love is seeing God's larger story and then finding my place within it and understanding and learning who he is because that helps me understand so much. It's so vital. It's so important. For me, it's scripture. And sometimes it's actually pretty rare, but sometimes it is, what does the Bible say about, or going to scriptures that I know talk about a specific topic, but sometimes it's just reading, and it's incredible how much he can bring out of, say, a story that you don't think relates to your circumstances at all. But if you will take the time to sit and to listen and really to ask, like, okay, God, can you, like, what's going on here? And often I'll say this, it catches me off guard. It's like I've sought God in a problem, and then I'm in scripture, and then it's like the answer pops out to me. Because I love to get deep into scripture. I love to get into the context. And I think so often that's where God reveals to me something. And I always feel better actually when it catches me off guard, because then I know that I'm not like just going in to find what it is that I want the answer to be.
Yeah. Confirmation bias.
Yeah, exactly. Or it actually makes it more difficult for me to avoid like the decision where I'm like, I'm not going to seek God in this because I don't think I'm going to like his answer. it's like sometimes getting into scripture, it's really funny because it's like then you can't avoid it. It's not like you're not asking. It's like right there on the page and you're like, doggone it. I'm just going to stop reading in the middle. Just this sentence, I think you missed a period,
nope.
translators.
Yeah, that's almost exactly like it is, but it's just when I am praying and listening, and I'll get different words and phrases and promptings and thoughts and stuff. I'm like, oh gosh, all right, well, it's permanent now.
Yeah, that is. And so, but then we talked
sometimes
about,
those are good. Sometimes it goes the other way.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's great things.
And so we've talked about what we're talking about is hearing from God. And so then you do have to make the choice to then, as you're making the decision, to follow his promptings.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, if the question is, how do you make decisions? In reality, the question is like, what should I do? And the answer is going to never be, don't listen to God. The answer is never going to be, don't listen to God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what I was going to say earlier, it kind of fits in right there, is that I tend to be very focused on results.
Yes.
In every way, this decision is a means to an end, right? Mm-hmm. Is it the right one? Is it the right means to the end? Always very future minded, way down the road, not what's in front of me, but way down here.
I'm thinking 10 minutes. You're thinking 10 years.
Yeah. And all the options.
Yes.
Like, let's A through double Z.
Yes.
Right. And in this particular season for the last, maybe, let's call it 6 months. That's not exact, but somewhere around there. It was, God's not focused on your results. It's not about the results. It's about your obedience. It's like, I don't care about the results. Yeah. The results are not what I'm caring about. It's your willingness to obey is what the focus is, not about the outcome.
When you shared that with me a while back, you stated it so beautifully, because it was like you talked about praying, not crying out, but I'll say that, like crying out to God, seeking God, and saying, God, I did what you asked me to do. Why is this result not coming? And it's the way you described it was like God's voice coming back, or what was impressed on you with like,
oh, you thought I was looking for results.
And that hit me so hard. What are we projecting onto God? Of like, if I do X, Y, and Z, then this will be the result. And obedience doesn't always look like that. Like, what are we projecting like the result as being? And sometimes God does give us an image to help us understand the direction, help it make sense to us. But ultimately, he's guiding our steps, and he's ultimately deciding what the end result is meant to be. It's our job to be obedient within it. And there are moments where it is like, no, what I'm asking you to do is to get this result, but that result is coming out of the steps of obedience. And so really, you're not even responsible, in quotations, for the results. You're responsible about it being obedient in the moment, in the big moments, in the small moments, and all of those things. But it was so beautiful to me when you shared that with me, like, oh, you thought I wanted results. And it really helped me reflect on, what am I projecting onto God, whether it's a result that I want, and then I'm being obedient over here, but then I'm like, God, I didn't get it. What I wanted. Isn't that okay, sorry, I'm going to go off on a really side tangent, but I'm at least like to say it in 2 sentences. It's when something bad happens, or when we don't get what we want and we feel like we've earned the good thing. God, I prayed. God, I showed up to church. God, I whatever. Why isn't this happening? Why are my finances still struggling? Why are my relationships still falling apart? Why am I sick? Or why is someone I love going through this struggle? And we go, God, I've done all these things. Haven't I earned that? When really it's not always about that. It's about being obedient in the little things.
Yeah.
In the moment, which is tough. But you're always in a moment. If it's about the small things in the moment, then it's important to remember that you are always in a moment that God desires to guide.
And there's something very freeing about letting go of the results.
Yeah.
And then your focus becomes obedience. And then your focus becomes even more on listening for, like, what do I need to do next?
Yeah.
Since you've got the result, you've got everything after it, and all I have to do is act. There's something very freeing about that.
Yeah. And watch how the pieces come together. I have so many stories, and we won't get into it, but it's where it's like there have been moments where I'm like, God, what on earth? Like, what on earth? And looking back, it's like that season has provided a skill set. That season has provided relationships. That season has provided all kinds of different things. And so it's like God really using all of those moments, whether we understand it or not, to continue to shape us into the people that we're meant to be, with the unique purpose that we're meant to have, and living that out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's like, people say hindsight's 20/20, and then you look back and you're like, oh, of course. But sometimes hindsight is very spiritual.
Yeah.
It's like, all of a sudden God connects a bunch of dots that you would have never, like those dots are so far apart in your present mind. And then when you look back at them, you like see this thread that only God could have connected, through your story of your whole life.
I have several very mature Christians in my life that would tell you this is why you journal. This is why you write things down, because depending on your mood, you will attribute those hindsight moments to different things. And if you want to see God in them, you need to, I'm not going to say you need to journal, but you do need to look at it through that spiritual lens and not just everything always is the worst look. Like, no, you need to look through it through a different lens. You need to have that posture of gratitude. You need to have the attitude of gratitude and stuff like that. And so, decision making, we all make decisions differently. It's not like right, wrong, or other, but what is the biggest thing is seeking God in that, because you may go, no, it's unhealthy and I'm too impulsive. Cool. Seek God in that. He may have given you that gift so that you'll make decisions that others won't, or you'll move when other people won't. You're somebody who gets gridlocked. Cool. Seek God in those moments too, because he's given you something that others don't as well. And so
be willing to not see the whole picture and rely on God for it. For me, it's reliance. Yeah.
There's a joke. One of my favorite jokes is it's a Sunday school teacher. She's up in front of a classroom and she starts to describe something. She's like, kids, I'm going to describe something to you. I want you to tell me what it is. And so she goes, this thing, it's an animal. It's a little brown animal and has a big fluffy tail and a little nose and it loves to climb trees. And a kid up front, little Timmy, raises his hand and she calls on him. She goes, ma'am, I know the answer is Jesus, but it sounds a whole lot like a squirrel. And what's so funny is we're talking about decisions and we're going all over the place. And it's like, oh yeah, but the answer is Jesus. It's like, no, seeking God is the answer. And so,
But God created you.
And knows
uniquely.
You. And is growing
for
you.
A reason.
On purpose, with purpose.
Created your decision-making process.
Yes.
For a reason. Strengths and weakness.
And it may be
both.
And it may be that he's growing you through that. It may be that he's gifted you with it, whatever that looks like. And so God knows you, knows your heart, knows how you work, knows what makes you tick.
Giving you the opportunity to rely on him and not
What an incredible
yourself.
Opportunity. Moses says it's time. He keeps adjusting. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. You have any parting thoughts?
Nope.
Yeah. It's a great discussion. And so thanks for listening to the Everyday Truths podcast. If this was helpful for you, this will be helpful for someone else as well. And so make sure you go ahead and you share that with somebody, probably whoever just popped in your head.
Like, subscribe.
Send it to that guy. Like, subscribe, do all the things.
Or gal.
What?
You said send it to that guy. I said or
Send
gal.
it to that guy or gal. Just send it to everybody, all the guys and gals. And great conversation. And can't wait to see you guys next time. So until then,
bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the Everyday Truths podcast. Now, coming up in December, I'm going to be doing daily devotionals, like 90-second devotionals on social media. And they're just to inspire you all through this Christmas season. And so if you're not already following me or the podcast on social media, I'm going to drop all of the links below, but you can follow on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, YouTube, and all of these devotionals will be available there. And so we'll see you guys next time.